I'm going to introduce a very, very special panel now. You know, the beautiful thing about this audience is that there are men and women of all ages. But something happens to women as they accumulate and gather experience, is how I prefer to describe it. I don't call it getting old because who feels old, right? I'm 54 and I'm 18 till I die, right? But really, more seriously, I actually believe that lived experience empowers women in ways that we don't even talk about. And yet there is an attempt to invisibilize women in what are our power years. These are the years when we feel free, we feel comfortable in our own skin, but we also battle, you heard Masaba very movingly, hormonal changes, we battle perimenopause, we battle menopause, we face people looking at us in a stereotypical way. Raise your hand, those of you here who've gone through that, who've gone through people looking at you differently. And I can see a lot of hands being raised, and we'll hear from all of you in the conversation. But what's amazing about the next three women that I'm going to introduce is that in their own ways, they've actually shown that this number, whether you say 30, 40, 50, it's irrelevant. What matters is issues, wellness, health, and talking openly about yourself, about your bodies, about your dreams, about your causes, and how these are the most uplifting years for us as women in so many different ways. So I want to put our hands together to welcome our three guests. First, I want to bring on stage somebody who you may, and you will know her as an actor, an accomplished actor, but I know her as somebody who has also spoken up for air pollution in our cities, for climate change, for many such issues. Please put your hands together to welcome Dia Mirza. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. My next guest is also somebody you will know from the world of entertainment. But I'll tell you something about her. She has single-handedly led a conversation around the hormonal changes that our bodies go through, whether it's perimenopause or menopause, and actually said, here's what you can do about it. But the first thing you have to do is to start the conversation. Please put your hands together for the lovely Minnie Mathur. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And finally, she's the fitness queen of not just Mumbai, but of India. Every celebrity is at her door, including Helen in her 80s. So what's your excuse? If you don't follow her now on Instagram, follow her work. She shows you that fitness is actually a pleasure, and she represents it. She's a living embodiment of it. Please put your hands together for Yasmin Karachiwala. Big round of applause, guys. Let's show them some love. Thank you. Thank you. How lovely. And all three of you have been very patient, waiting for our audience to come back from lunch. So we thank you for that. I know you're all terribly busy women and appreciate the patience.
I want to know what they ate.
What did they eat? But then you'll scold them and you'll say, bread mat khao or ye mat khao, wo mat
No, I
khao.
won't scold. I'll just say how they could eat it better.
Okay, anyone wants to share what they ate for lunch? Okay, one minute. Somebody stand up, and there's a mic behind you in the alley. Go there and tell us what you ate for lunch. Come on, there's a mic there. Hang on. Get to the mic. Yeah. Yeah, what did you eat? I can't hear you.
Rajma chawal.
Rajma chawal. Okay, keep the mic. She ate rajma chawal.
Any vegetables with it?
No.
So it would be a perfect meal
tomato
if you ate
and
rajma, chawal and vegetables. Because
Why
you
did
need
you
the
not have
fiber.
vegetables?
Itna bhi theek hai yaar. We can let that go.
I'm poor chap. Poor guy. Okay,
Samia wants to say something.
okay, you want to say something? Can we just get first comments from all of them? Okay, we'll take one comment from you. Yeah.
We should be very diet conscious because, you know, as the age increases, we really need to reduce the food products, which are not necessary for the body. So I myself, I don't eat rice, noodles, maida, and cold drinks.
So no chola bhatura.
No, I eat chole, but no bhature.
ये तो बहुत मेरे से नहीं होगा.
No, I do that way. And so now, I mean, today my lunch was zucchini, stir zucchini, and chestnut. Stir
Yasmin would
chestnut.
approve.
Yeah.
My point is, what about pleasure?
Protein.
Protein.
आज
Give her the
था
mic.
बहुत carbs है.
zucchini के साथ क्या था protein?
Can we give her the mic, please?
फिर बाद
हाँ,
में
तो
मैं शाम
you
को लूंगी
require
थोड़ा.
the protein. You had the fiber, but you didn't have the protein.
So, you know, I change every day. So I eat fresh fruit salad,
Okay.
and then I eat
Okay,
vegetable salad.
I want to say that I am feeling a great craving for chola bhatura hearing all of this health talk. Let's get to our
But
conversation.
now we have the baked bhaturas, you can eat that.
नहीं मुझे तले हुए भटूरे ही खाने हैं मेरे को तले हुए भटूरे ही खाने हैं all right okay guys ma'am I'm going to request you to take your seat because I'm waiting to talk to these three lovely women the power years I want to say that as we live we learn as we learn we feel free and yet the way society looks at us as we go through these changes our body goes through these changes is almost pitifully some parts of society, not all parts of society. I want to ask all three of you if you've experienced that stereotyping and how have you countered it? I'll start with you, Dia.
Of course I have. I'm an
how does it
actor.
manifest?
I'm an actor in the Hindi film industry.
So ageism follows you
is like,
everywhere.
yes, it does. So, I mean, it's interesting. This year I'm doing films with some stalwarts, and many of them are well over their 50s. Some of them are in their 60s. And I'm cast, you know, as a romantic lead with these people. And I was just thinking and talking with my management the other day and thinking, which 70-year-old or 68-year-old woman do you know who's been cast opposite a 40-year-old and is playing a 45-year-old?
Yeah.
None.
None.
It doesn't happen. That concept doesn't exist. So that is the fundamental, you know, issue that we're dealing with on a daily basis. And then, of course, we're a part of a capitalist, consumerist system that is packaging us and selling us for different products and different things.
So do you fight it or do you just accept it, this ageism? Or do you say we live on our own terms?
I think we say we live on our own terms. There were many things that I was told when I was in my 20s. I was told I wouldn't be getting parts, good parts, past my 30th year. I've played some of my best parts after I've turned 40.
I think we can have a round of applause
Yeah.
for that, right?
I was told that women have a shelf life in the entertainment business. I think Minnie and I both are, you know, complete and total examples of the fact that we don't. We decide when we stop working. Nobody decides for us. No
Well
one.
said.
No one.
Well said.
I was told that after you get married or after you have children, your opportunities reduce. I think some of my best work has followed after I've had a child. So we're here fighting the stereotypes with our choices. I just want to add one more thing, Barkha. I don't think I had the vocabulary
Yeah.
to understand the gendering that
Yeah.
we experienced when we were younger.
Yeah.
I think the biggest advantage we have as women today is the fact that we have the vocabulary to understand the gendering. And that is a very big power shift because when you understand what the problems are you able to solve them? Even within your own mental makeup, you're able to see it at home. You're able to catch your parents out if they do it sometimes, or even your partners or your siblings or even your children. You know, sometimes children can say deeply patriarchal things without realizing it. And if we are equipped with that understanding, we're able to change mindsets. And I think you've played a very big part in making that possible. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Minnie, you have actually very consciously, you know, Dia talks about not having that vocabulary, and Dia, thank you. It means a lot to me to have impacted the sense of freedom for any woman anywhere. So thank you. That's why we do what we do. But you have actually consciously gone looking for that vocabulary. And you are saying, we're not going to let anybody else, just like Dia said, define us. There is a positive way to take everything that we've learned, all the experience, all the accomplishment, all the talent that we carry within us, while recognizing that physically there is something happening to our bodies that actually may not, you know, may outpace our mind at times, right? At least I've had that experience where my mind and my body are sometimes going in different directions. Talk a little bit about what made you, in a way, devote and commit yourself to this space.
So, Barkha, I have always been playing catch up to everything that I've done. I mean, I actually entered the television industry when I was 28 after I finished my master's in business, while everybody else around me, especially at MTV where I started, was 16 or 17. And I was always the one who was pushing the age ka boundary upar, okay? So I mean, most people did what they did right out of school because they were clear, and I was just following my path and my callings all the time. So for me, while I've not faced any biases, age biases, till I was 40, 45, I suppose, I didn't think about it at all. And physically also, I looked after my health. It's only when I started sensing that, oh, so the plum parts are going to go to the next, whatever, or my seasoning and my experience with my profession, which only gets better with time, is not, there's no credit for it. You don't get a better show because you are more equipped to handle with it. And that used to really rankle me, that just when I'm on top of everything, you are looking for the next, younger person.
Yeah.
So that was kind of setting in. And at the same time, when I started noticing the fact that my body was changing and my mind was changing as well, today, at 54, I feel more focused. I have more clarity. I am absolutely certain about my boundaries, but I had a tough time finding space to draw these boundaries about me without letting people call me somebody who couldn't multitask or whatever. So while my answer is so all over the place,
No,
because
I
it's
understand
like
your answer.
the women today are having to deal with the biggest transition of their life when they are least equipped to handle it.
Which is menopause.
Which is menopause. Which is when your body, your hormones, you're changing, you're living another biological life, you're starting it. And that is when this hits you like a ton of bricks. And you're also being told, "Are pet dekho, ageism, auntie, pregnant hai, why is she wearing something like this?" Everyone has an opinion on it. And now we have trolls everywhere. So you are having to deal with the ageism when you're least prepared to handle it. So why I started speaking out about it is because if people like me don't come out and sort of identify how old we are and that we don't define what we do and how good we are at it with our age, it's not going to happen. So we have to move it forward.
And I think part of it is this whole coyness around, a woman and her age, never ask a woman her age, these old ideas. But Yasmin, you come to this from actually a very interesting perspective. You say, yes, our bodies are going to change, but here's how we can manage that change. Before you come to how you've done it and led the way for so many of us, I think the point that Diya and Minnie are making is we don't even talk about it, right? Just when we feel we're in the prime of our lives because we have achieved, many of us have achieved things that we were chasing, our body isn't keeping pace. Our mind is whirring in one direction, our body is sometimes going in another direction. How has that journey been for you? I know you may have done a better job than most of us because you're a fitness guru, you lead by example, but even so, I mean, the women on this stage, we're all above 40, some of us are 54, some of us are 50, some of us are in our 40s, and our bodies are changing, and our mind is changing, and yet, this is the most empowered I think we've all felt. And it's all happening together. Yes.
So I totally agree with both of them that this is actually the best time of our lives because we've done everything, right? From wearing bikinis to having to look good for other people to now doing everything for ourselves. And that is very empowering. As a kid, I used to be a tomboy. So when I got into what I was doing, my profession, I was, I think, one of the first female instructors out there. And I started with teaching aerobics and, that didn't matter because, women are always doing aerobics. But when I entered the strength training space, my competition was men, but I only focused on what I was doing. When menopause hit, fortunately, I was very disciplined. So the workout was not a chore for me. My body went with where my mind led it, and my mind wanted to do it. But of course, a lot of people around me who struggled. And that's where, discipline comes in. So it was like, maintain your good habits, focus on your nutrition, because your body needs to be nurtured. And I think most importantly, after 40s, you need to realize that exercise is also meant to nurture your body. And you need to find that form of exercise and the right combination of nutrition that's going to nurture you from inside out.
And if Helen is doing this with you in her 80s, what excuse do the rest of us have,
Exactly.
right?
She just had a birthday last week.
She's what, 87
and
or something?
she's 86, 87.
Wow.
And she works out every day. So we've done a reel before where people got motivated but intimidated at the same time. And so this time I was like, Auntie, let's do a reel with 5 exercises that everyone can do at home. And I think with her as well, because of the time she puts into her body, the confidence is different. She's walking better, she's feeling better. And at the end of the day, I think it's important how we feel. And once we feel empowered, there's no one that can stop us.
So Dia, is it yes, you please clap loudly for the bits you agree with. I agree, but is it that simple? I agree, 100%. But here are the things that happen, right? Your metabolism changes, so suddenly the body that could be a certain way till you were late 30s, 40s, with the same lifestyle isn't responding in the same way. You know, hot flashes have become the subject of caricatures and jokes. When we were young, nobody wanted to talk about periods. You know, you had whispers around it. We didn't talk about menstruation. When we're older, nobody wants to talk about menopause or perimenopause. This is bizarre. Yeah. This is bizarre. This is the female body that births this universe. And we are not able to talk when we're young about menstruation, when we're older about perimenopause or menopause. Minnie, you wanted to come in? I was just going to go to Dia.
I just want to say, we as women are so scared to take up space in a room and nurture the world around us, but just we don't want to talk about what ails us because we feel that then we'll be impinging on something else that could better the lives of the people around us. And it's just high time we came out of the shadows as well.
So is it as Yasmin says, you exercise, you look after yourself, you'll be good, you'll be fine, you can manage this. Is it like that? Or do people look at us differently? Do they want to not look at us? Do they want to, as Minnie said, call us aunties? You know?
I've had a very love-hate relationship with physical exercise.
Yes.
And truth.
Thank you for saying this. Though
No,
Yasmin's going to smack
truth
both
be
you and
told,
me, but
yes.
yeah.
But truth be told, it's a battle for me.
Yeah.
There are phases where I really enjoy working out and I'm very disciplined and I'm mindful and I'm doing everything that I need to. But then there are phases when I just can't, and it takes a lot of motivation to get myself into a space in a room to work out. I've made things very accessible for myself. There is that treadmill in the room next to mine. But that comes from a place of privilege. I'm just saying that if I can find 3 things that I absolutely must do and I push myself to do every day, then I am doing my best to make sure I do those 3 things. But it's taken a lot of yo-yoing to get to this point. You know, it's taken a lot of not showing up for myself and realizing, oh my God, what a fool. And then saying, oh, when I do show up for myself, look at the results. It's so empowering. It's so good. See, the thing is that when we reach this point where we are, I'm about to hit perimenopause. So I am beginning to experience hot flashes. Yeah. And so I'll be sitting there on a very hot set and suddenly breaking into, unbearable hot flashes. And everybody's looking at me like I'm having a meltdown. I'm Godzilla. And I'm like, I'm really sorry, but I need to breathe. And you make a joke of it, but it's hard. It's really, really hard. But for the most part, I think what happens is we don't consider how challenging it is to be dealing with changing hormones and dealing with the kind of work that we have, especially people like you and me, who have such public work where so much of what we do is about human interaction. You know, we can't isolate ourselves and say, today I'm not in the mood. But you have to show up and you have to do the job. and you have to be amiable.
Even
And
when
for
you're
most
so
of us, Barka, this comes at a time, the hormonal imbalance comes bang at a time when your kids are dealing with teenage hormones and you have ailing parents to
Exactly.
look after.
Yes.
So there are usually 3 stages of hormones and, going around in the same family.
I was
and
just going to say that. 16-year-old teenager, 4.5-year-old toddler, my own perimenopause setting in.
it's a nightmare.
And I don't know, maybe my husband's going to be hitting andropause very soon too. And then there's work.
Yeah.
And there's that work that
yeah.
requires so much of you.
And here's my question. This thing of showing up, looking or appearing amiable when you're not feeling it, how do you all do it? To you first, Minnie, and then to Yasmin. All of you and
Yeah.
me have very public-facing jobs, work, right? We are not, eccentric writers who can live in isolation and turn out a novel. We're constantly meeting people.
We're meeting people and there seems to be some kind of strange scrutiny that happens every time you step out. That doesn't ease up. So even if
so
you
give
are
an
50,
give an example.
the paps will still zoom into that one bulge or that one thing and write nasty things. And of course, then social media will be all over it. Not that it scares me. The beauty of it is, it doesn't bother me anymore because I have come into a space where I don't give a shit, frankly. What you think of me and everybody else's opinion is not of consequence. I used to feed off it some years ago. But the clarity and the focus that comes with your hormones telling you that life is in here and not in here, and that your power doesn't rest with your beauty is amazing. And the moment, I can't wait for all of you to get to that point where you know that the power does not rest in your beauty. That is very important. Barka, the day I wrote on Instagram, I am 52. I exhaled. Somewhere I exhaled and I said, now I don't have to keep up. I don't have to keep up with my 16-year-old colleagues who are doing the same thing. And the lifestyle reset that Yasmin, of course, will talk about, and she, I totally identify when you say that, there's some days where you want to, and there's some days where you have to own up to your feelings and say, I can't work out. And the beauty about hitting this is that your body is asking for time, your body is asking for space, it's asking for boundaries, it's asking for you to stop and smell the roses that you haven't done for 40 years of your life. And it forces you to sit and smell the roses and take your own time, and that's what calms you. Then you get down to the exercise when you have to.
I just say don't sit for too long.
Before you go to Yasmin, because she's like going to
That's why I quickly
stare
said
into both of us.
Honk me in.
Yasmin is taking,
The pause and the calm only comes from one thing for me:
which is?
meditation.
Really?
Yes. Nothing gives me more of a pause than that. That discipline of breathing every day,
You
that
do it
20 every day. That's one thing I've never stopped. And
I mean, it's a different matter that you've also been speaking about how difficult it is to breathe in some of our cities. But yes.
So for me, my
Yeah.
exercise is my meditation.
Yeah.
And that's where I breathe, and especially in Pilates, because if you've ever been to a Pilates class, all you hear your instructor saying is inhale, exhale. Inhale, inhale, exhale, exhale. Inhale. So we're constantly for that hour, the 50 minutes, we're telling our clients to breathe. And as we grow older, like I come back to the point that I said, we have to find exercises that nurture us, exercises that we look forward, movement, not even exercises, movement that makes us feel good. Of course, there are days when you don't want to do it and your body just needs a break, but those days need to be short. Like, you need to understand that, and we all know that, the movement loves us, and we love the movement because the movement makes us feel a certain way and breathe easily as well.
But tell me, you
And
were always this sorted?
I was the laziest kid.
No,
growing
no,
up.
I don't
believe
cannot.
you.
Nobody's
Yes,
going to
tell
believe
them
this.
the
Yas.
story.
My mom, you know the story.
Tell the story.
I used to be the laziest teenager.
Then?
If you asked me to get up and go get that bottle of water, I'd say, Barkha, can you throw it to me? Because I wouldn't get up from here to go get it.
Yeah.
And my mom used to always tell me, Tera kya hoga? Kuch to kar.
Why are you giggling? Why? Take the mic.
I'm saying that for my daughter right now.
I used to come
And my
from
daughter's
school-
sitting there saying, listen to her, pay attention, things
I
are
used
going to
come from
change.
school and not get out of my night.
So
out of my-
how did that person become
It
this person?
Just, you know, a friend of mine was dating someone and wanted to look good and forced me to go to the gym because there was a deal 2 for the price of 1. And I went in because, you know, when we were kids, it was peer pressure. If you're my best friend, you'll do this for me. So I was like, okay. She knew exactly what she wanted and she had a goal. She had to impress somebody and fall in love and all of that. I just ate biryani more than all the boys I knew. I ate pizzas. I was eating vada paos outside Xavier's College. And I went there. When I went to this aerobic class, I thought I was really cool. I thought there was no one cooler than me. I was a good dancer. I have made a fool out of myself because I didn't know coordinated movement. And when people went to the right, I went to the left. When the teacher was doing this, like giving us instructions, I was raising my
Look
hand.
at you
and
now.
I know, exactly.
And I just felt so bad that I was terrible at something. Yeah. And I kept going back to that class again and again to prove to myself that I can't be so bad. And one day the instructor was unwell. She called me up at home and she said, those were before the mobile on the home, will you teach my class? And I said, like, what do you mean? She said, just go, my cassettes will be there, just play one. And whatever you think. And I actually went, it was 10 song sequence and I played it and I knew everything. And I could tell everyone what to do. I could, you know, speak through the class. And when I finished, everyone said, oh, when did you practice? And I just, I was
Amazing.
like, okay.
You
Amazing.
just showed up for yourself. That's so cool. Thank
Okay,
you.
I
You've
have
just,
time for a few
you've
more
given me hope.
questions, Madhya. Yeah, I know the rest of us slackers, we have to catch up. Are there questions or people who want to share their own experience here in the second row in the white? Yeah, stand up. By the way, there are mic stands at the back, but I don't think you are able
There's
to.
a mic right
Yeah, but there's a mic. They can't see them. If we can maybe make them more prominent, but go ahead. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. My
Speak
name is
louder,
Deepthi.
speak louder.
Is this okay?
Yeah.
Great. So I have a question. We were always told that a healthy body is a body which is a curvy body and not a very skinny and a thin body. So I would like to hear from you, ma'am, Yasmin, what do you have to say about it?
A healthy body is when you can get up in the morning and not feel tired, when you can go around doing the chores in your life and whatever you have to do through the day and go to bed and get a deep night's restful sleep.
Can I hold you there? One of the things about this age is not being able to sleep. I don't know if...
Barkha, that is one of the most important factors
Yeah.
to balance your hormones after you're 40.
Yeah.
I was going to add to that, you know, it's basically a lifestyle reset. That's what it all boils down to. Every parantha you've eaten, chola bhatura, or any, you know, alcohol and, you know, everything, late nights, all of that
That's
has
so unfair,
to...
no?
It's not, because you will find... Ho gaya na, you've done enough of it. This is...
I don't want to stop doing it.
And you can. If 80% of the time you can reset what you're doing and do it
No, no,
well,
yeah.
you
No,
can
I
take
hear
your
you.
leaps
I'm
of
not-
faith.
I'm not
I do
disagreeing.
that
I'm
all
only
the time.
playing the
No,
fool.
but
Yeah.
also we have to realize the hormonal changes, right? So we need supplementation because we're not getting it from our food, and our bodies after the age of 40 need more supplementation, need enough protein to make us not feel tired, magnesium to be able to
But
get...
sleep.
Yes,
Magnesium to be able to
magnesium
sleep.
able
So
to
sleep is the basis
And
of
if you-
everything.
But I
But
want
don't
to say-
self-prescribe magnesium, okay? First check what the
Yes.
levels are in your
Yeah,
blood.
do your
Exactly.
blood test,
Type.
show
Yeah.
it to somebody who knows how to read it and supplement. Because our food's not giving us the enough.
No, but you know, here's the part that I want to stress on. Who's having these conversations with us? The point is, yes, somebody on Instagram, yes, some of you, yes, some exposure that some of us with privilege have to what we read. The fact is that most women in this country are going through all of this without understanding a darn thing about what they're going through.
Because there is the doctors are here to solve bigger problems, and that nobody has focused on the longevity game for women. And I insist that everything that you see on Instagram isn't true. But doctors don't have the kind of 1 hour or 1.5 hour of conversation they need to understand to be able to prescribe the things that you need, right?
Yeah.
Everyone has to be their own health advocate at the end of the day, be on top of the science, be on top of where you're at, be on top of your fitness game, your food game. You can't go to one doctor and say, fix me. You can't. You'll have to go to multiple people, but then there has to be that one person who brings all that together. Okay?
Yeah,
And
I
understand.
think the internet has been a game changer because it
For good or
has
for bad?
for good also, because a lot of access to good verified information is available more than ever before, and it's I'm
Or
like,
at least put options on the table.
But it's
Absolutely.
also important to check and verify the information.
which is why I
that
said
you're reading.
verifiable
Because
information.
you have a lot, like
But we're not acknowledging a very large percentage of women in our country
Who have
when
no
we're
access
talking
to
about
any
who have
of
no
this.
access to any of this, right? Which is like, say, 60% of your farmers, your agricultural workers, your women
Yeah.
who are in the fields doing the work. Nobody is talking to them about how their bodies are changing.
Yeah.
And they're working
And if
through
they
those
attempted
changes.
that conversation, they'd be scoffed at.
Absolutely. But there is.
Even some of us may be scoffed at.
I
hang
met
on.
someone
Absolutely.
who's doing a PhD in menopause for rural women.
You mentioned that to me when I
I
brought this up
remember,
with you.
yeah.
Because when she set up her platform, I said, Minnie, what you're doing is so important and so fantastic and so necessary. Can you find a way to reach out to rural women?
Yeah.
Because they need this information just as much as we do. But the good news is, like she said, she has a friend who's doing this PhD, but there are more and more now NGOs that are working and focused on women's health and making information that's vital to them accessible, including supplementation,
Yeah.
which is something that was never, even like government programs are doing it now. Of course, we are far off from where we
Yes.
need to be, but there is some movement in the right direction.
I have time for one more question. Let's hear somebody who hasn't spoken. Have you spoken yet? Yeah, stand up in the black, yes. There's a mic behind you, yes. Oh, okay, all right. It's okay, it can be anybody, it's all right, yeah.
You must have heard about this experiment of reverse aging by Brian Johnson. What are your views on that?
Oh my God. All right. Anyone wants to take that? Because I have,
I will.
yes.
और भी गम है ज़माने में.
Reverse
Reverse. This idea of longevity, of youthfulness, I think is the opium that has corrupted the conscience of man. I'll tell you why I'm saying this. It is the same ego and the same avarice and the same desire for power that is driving the climate crisis, or rather the catastrophe, is driving inequity in society and is causing 99% of the problems that we're dealing with. So no, I don't believe in it at all. I hope that especially some very powerful, can I say it?
Yes.
White men who are disadvantaging this world to the extent that they are, I hope they go sooner than later. And I hope no reverse aging programs work on such people.
Okay.
And why is
Yeah.
everyone so scared of aging?
Yeah.
Age is beautiful. I'm 55, she's 54, you're in your 40s.
54.
Yeah, and we love it.
54.
Why are
Yeah.
we looking
Yeah,
at
I don't think there's
reversing
anything more dynamic and
Look
powerful
ahead.
and beautiful than a person who is evolving
Yeah.
And
at any age.
absolutely.
Plus, you have an audience that's fairly in their 20s and 30s
Yeah,
here. I'm
yeah.
so proud of all of you. I can only tell you, it's all about being hopeful. Every decade that I have lived has bettered the decade that I've lived before that. And I hope that for
Yes.
all of you.
I agree.
It's the best ever.
I want to ask all three of you in the end. We've called this conversation the power years because we believe that we are the vehicles of our own power. We don't need that validation externally, though we all struggle with it in different ways. What's the one thing that gives you power, all three of you? I'll start with you, Yasmin. Where do you get your sense of power from?
From being comfortable in the skin that I live in, from being comfortable at the age that I am, and looking at my children who are now men, and knowing that, oh my God, they're good human beings, they're respectful, they're empathic, and just kind. I think that gives me power, to know that I'm living the best life of my life right now.
Minnie?
I think my power comes from purpose.
Yeah.
And that purpose keeps changing every decade.
Yeah.
And if I feel that I'm doing things that are meant to do this decade well, then it's a good journey.
Dia?
You know, it's amazing that they've both said what I would have said. My power comes from purpose and kindness. I don't think anything is possible without these two things. You
Passion? You need to add some passion.
I don't think purpose, you can't
you can't have
realize,
purpose
you
without
can't have
passion.
purpose
Yeah,
without
yeah,
passion.
yeah.
And, you know, life holds an entirely different level of meaning when it's a kinder space. You know, when you are kind every day of your life.
Well, I want to say, I'm looking at the three of you, and you're glowing. You're glowing with your own comfort, with your own confidence, with your own sense of self-assurance, and it is beautiful to see. Is it not?
Thank you, and we feel
As
the
are you,
same about
Barkha.
you.
Look
Thank
at
you.
you, going from strength to strength, power to power, most amazing things, and it just gets better. So you are a prime
always
example.
You know,
motivating
you've
us.
been my biggest inspiration. For decades, I've always looked up to you. I've always admired you,
For a
and
whole
I have
And I
always
said that to you
reveled.
too when you messaged me.
I've always reveled in your power.
Oh,
So thank you.
thank you so much. Thank you so
represented
much.
it
I'm
all.
going to start crying because it's so moving to hear that. There's one very special moment that we are now going to unfold on stage. You know, we've spoken so much about women, but there is one of our partners is a man-led company that is shifting the conversation on menopause, on women's health, and they have been our partner in this journey for the last 3 years. I want to invite on stage, as we honor our three wonderful women with the Changemaker Award, the Mirror team. If we can have Sanjeet Shetty and his team on stage, please. Can we have a round of applause, because these are also men leading change. Okay. May I ask all three of you to come here? Sanjit, could you please do the honors? The Mirror team is a lot of young women and one. I love your colors. So I just want to say about, before we give out the awards. Sanjit. Do you remember me? Because I've been stalking you for years. Oh. Hi. Okay, I just want to say before we give out the awards that Mirror is focusing on community, on talking about hormone replacement therapies, about they have an app, so look them up. And what I've always found very interesting is how passionate. This is not Sanjit's main sort of business, but this is something he does from passion. He's really interested in it. He's been talking to me about it for years, and I think it's wonderful the work that Mirror and the entire team, Sanjit and the entire team, have been doing. If I may ask you to do the honors now for Yasmin Karachiwala, our Changemaker Award. Let's have a big round of applause for the next one for Dia. Guys, show them some love, come on. And Minnie. Let's give it up for all of them. Sanjit, you want to say something?
Every woman will go through this for nearly half of her life, through 50-odd symptoms, yet it's the world's most favorite secret to keep. I asked myself why, and I really appreciate, I bow down to all these women, including the women in my team. It's because of you that the conversation is shifting. God bless you all. I'm just a male ally, and I tell you, I feel for this. And I go around the country talking to other men. So whenever you have men who want to hear it from another man who speaks loudly, please call me. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Barkha.
Sorry? They might know it. I will check. Okay. Thank you so much.
By the way,